Hello and welcome to Visordown and welcome to the south of France. I'm Matt, I'm Visordown's resident SEO monkey, and now I've been freed of my Google spreadsheets for today because Toad is off in India playing around with a Royal Enfield, which means I've been dispatched to check out this, which might, on the face of it, look like a bike that you've seen before, but don't be fooled. You're probably thinking of the Suzuki V-Strom DE. This is the Suzuki V-Strom RE, where DE stands for Dual Explorer, RE, as you probably gathered, stands for Road Explorer and not Religious Education, just in case you wondered. As you probably gathered from that name, the DE is all about kind of heading off in a green lane or smashing through a desert, something like that, and also doing a bit of tarmac. This is very much focused on the tarmac end of the spectrum, and they've actually done quite a bit more than you might imagine. Instead of blockier Dunlop Trail Max Mixtour tyres as found on the DE, we now have more road-oriented Dunlop D614 boots. You still get suspension from Showa with the catchily named separate function fork - big piston used at the front, but the travel has been reduced from 220mm to 150mm at both ends, and the fork is now non-adjustable. The rear monoshock is preload adjustable, and that could be done via a handy remote dial just to the right of the bike. I have been trying to find out if there are differences in damping rates as well, but all that means it kind of feels just a bit stiffer. It doesn't dive as much into the fork travel, it doesn't squat as much under acceleration either. But that's not all. We also have a new cockpit with a slightly different peg position. The bars are now narrower, they're lower, they're set further forward. Otherwise, the electronic stuff is much the same as the DE, and that means 3 Suzuki Drive Mode Selector or SDMS settings with differing levels of throttle aggression, 3 traction control settings, or 4 if you include off, and 2 ABS settings. Now, we've done just over 100 miles of riding on some pretty demanding roads in the south of France. I think on the DE that might have been a bit challenging, but this has lapped it all up. Now, the engine is something you're very familiar with because it's in both the DE and the Suzuki GSX-S, 776cc parallel twin with a 270-degree crank, which gives the offset firing order. I don't think it's quite as fruity as Yamaha's CP2 engine, and then maybe Honda's new twin that's in the Hornet and the Transit. Maybe that's also a bit spicier, but it's a really smooth engine. It's really eager to rev, and it does sound pretty nice when you absolutely gun it. And when you do change gear, you can take advantage of the quick shifter, which comes as standard. The screen is the same as on the GSX-8S and on the DE, and it's fine. It's not as flashy as something like what's on the KTM 790 Adventure and the 890 Adventure, but it does the job. It's clear, it's easy to read, and all the stuff you want is just there. I have, as it happens, just spent 2 weeks on the 800D. I think a testament to how good that bike does still feel on the road, even though it does have 220mm of suspension travel, is that jumping on this, it wasn't kind of an instant, night and day revelation. But the more you ride it, the more challenging roads that you go on, you do realise that actually it's quite a bit sharper. It does tip in just a bit more eagerly, and you have to be pushing it a lot further before it fills out of its depth. In terms of pricing, it is £9,699, which makes it around about £1,000 less than the DE and puts it kind of right in the crosshairs of things like the Yamaha Tracer 7. There's stacks of options here, but the value looks really good. The standard kit is good for the money. It's nice to ride. Colour choice, we have this, which is Vigor Blue. There is a green and a black that I've completely forgotten the names of, so those are going to appear sort of over here on the screen thanks to the magic of editing. So nice colour choice. The blue, I think, is what I go for, and it's a national colour of France, and we're in France, so that works out quite nicely. I think for a lot of people, the big thing here is going to be accessibility, because the seat height of this is 825mm. So as well as obviously the reduction in travel, the seat has been reshaped as well, but 825mm. The DE is fairly tall, so this is just going to be a lot easier for shorter riders to get on, or riders who have a bit less confidence and want a flat foot and don't want to be on the tippy toes when they're manoeuvring. We've also got stronger brakes, and obviously because you've got a bit less travel, it's a lot more confident under braking because you're not suddenly sort of diving into all that fork travel. Overall, it's a really strong package. I think maybe there's some spicier stuff out there for the money. You might be tempted to go for something like the Triumph Tiger Sport 660 with that lovely little triple engine, but as an all-rounder, this is great. If you want to commute on it, it'll do that. If you want to tour it, it'll do it. 20-litre tank, and it will do over 60 mpg, so you should be able to getting more than 250 miles to a fill-up. One thing I should point out, the screen, for me, it's okay. I mean, I'm 6 and a bit foot tall, which means I'm basically the wrong height for most adventure bike screens. I end up getting a load of high pressure air just fired straight at my head. But this is okay. It's 3 levels. It's slightly bigger than what you get on the DE, but if you do want to adjust it, it's 4 Allen bolts, so it's not going to be a quick thing. So once you've decided on that, you're not going to want to be changing that mid-journey. You're going to have to pull over and get an Allen key out and faff about. But overall, really strong package, attractively priced. Suzuki's range, you know, it's not the freshest, but it's another actually all new Suzuki, which is really good and really strong in many areas. And yeah, gets the thumbs up from me. So should you buy the DE or the RE? It all comes down to how honest you can be with yourself about the kind of riding you're going to be doing. Sure, we all like to think we're going to recreate those marketing shots and kick up loads of dirt in a desert or get caked in mud on a gnarly trail, but if you're unlikely to get up to such shenanigans IRL, the RE makes a great deal of sense. It's a noticeably better road bike than the DE, which is already pretty damn good on the tarmac, but almost as fun as the GSX-S with which it shares an engine and frame, while also being more comfortable. There's a lot of choice in this segment if you're an ADV rider who can be honest with themselves, but the RE should definitely be a bike to consider.